Dear students, now I am going to give you the working of liquidator's final statement of account. And you are already aware that I have done several solutions in the class also. I mean to say that in liquidator's final statement, 50% of the statement up to 1 to 6 we have already covered in the class. Even then, some of you have requested that I need to do the revision of that lesson, that I can do even later also, and of course those topics are also going to be continued in this working. Okay, so today as I have told you, I gave you the question also, the same question which I am going to work now, and you can follow my work anywhere. If you have any doubts, you can ask later. Fine. So shall we start the question for working now? As per this question, a company has went into voluntary liquidation and it is given that liquidator remuneration is 3% on realization is given. 3% on realization is nothing but realization on the assets, and 2% on the distribution to shareholders. Distribution to shareholders. This is I am going to work for full statement today. So follow me carefully, right? And to start with, first we have to record to the receipt side. Here it is given, following is the position of the company on 31/3/2015. So before I start this question, there is a small correction that you need to make in the question. That is with regard to dividend on preference shares have been paid up to, it is given 31/3/2015. So you make it as 2014. Okay. So now I start. Cash on realization of assets is given. So first I will enter the assets realized by the liquidator. It is given in the question for rupees 5 lakhs is given. Next, to the receipt side, as of now we don't have any other items. Cash on realization is the only item. So as you know very well, to the right side, I mean to the payment side, we have to make the entry for order of payment. And we have already discussed also what is the order of payment we need to follow in liquidator's final statement. Right? So with that order, the first item that we need to enter is the liquidation expenses, and liquidation expenses as given in the question is for 7,000. Then next we have to enter after liquidation expenses, liquidator's remuneration I need to enter for this. Liquidator remuneration. He is given as per the instruction in the question, liquidator is paid remuneration at 3% on realization. Realization is given for 5 lakhs. So 3% of 5 lakhs is the first remuneration, that amounts to 15,000, and he is paid 2% on the amount distributed to unsecured creditors, 2% on the amount distributed to shareholders, because now I am working for full statement. Full statement means until the last payment to equity shareholders we have to work, right? So 2%, right now we don't know how much we are going to pay for shareholders. For that sake, just you write 2% and leave it, later we can fill this amount. Then after the liquidator remuneration, the third payment we need to make for debentures. And as such, if you go through the question, there is no any debentures given. So after debentures we need to enter for the preferential creditors. Preferential creditors, it is given in the question for 9,000. It is given for 9,000. After preferential creditors, we need to enter for the unsecured creditors. Unsecured creditors. You remember, I think I have told you many times that when unsecured creditor is given and if preferential creditor is included or excluded is not given in the question, we always assume that unsecured creditor is always inclusive of preferential creditor. I have told you this many times, and even in the class also we have done this concept very much. Now in this question, unsecured creditor is given for 68,000. So it is given for 68,000, but this is already inclusive of preferential creditor for 9,000 rupees, which we have already entered. I already entered preferential creditor 9,000. So out of 68,000, if you deduct 9,000, unsecured creditors comes to only 59,000. This is nothing but unsecured creditor is inclusive of preferential creditor. Okay, then next, if you have paid for unsecured creditors, any calls in advance, if you have received any calls in advance in the question, that we need to make the payment, but here no calls in advance is given. So now we are going to enter for the payment to preference share holders. Preference shareholders. In the question, it is given that 6% cumulative preference share capital. 6% preference share capital is given for rupees 1,50,000. 1,50,000 is the preference share capital is given. And there is another item is dividend on preference shares have been paid up to 31/3/2014. Here the company has gone into liquidation on 1st April 2015. So 1 year preference dividend is outstanding. So you have to enter for arrears of preference dividend. Arrears of preference dividend, and this you can calculate for 1,50,000 is the capital. Dividend rate is 66% is given. This comes to 9,000 rupees is the arrears of preference dividend to be paid at the time of liquidation. Then for preference shareholders, as I have already given you in the format also, we are going to have two items. One is preference share capital, another one is arrears of preference dividend. Right? Now the last item that I have to make the payment is for equity shareholders. Final payment is to be made for equity shareholders. So equity shareholder payment, right now we cannot decide because we need to study the status of this statement. What is the position of liquidator after making so many payments? This we have to confirm, then only we can do the final statement conclusion. So let us go for the calculation part now. So this calculation part we can take as, first you take the total receipt as I have told you. It is for 5 lakhs is the receipt minus whatever the payments that I have made, till this stage. So you can take the payment in calculation wise. Here I have made the payment for 7,000 to liquidation expenses and 15,000 for liquidator remuneration, and together these two, together of preferential creditors and unsecured creditors, we have made the payment for 68,000, right? So if you take the total of these two, it comes to 90,000 rupees is the payment. So you are thinking that why I have not taken preferential capital and dividend. Why I have not taken? Because it is given that liquidator is paid with 2% commission on the amount distributed to shareholders. Means shareholder, they have not specified whether it is preference shareholder or it is equity shareholder. It is not mentioned in the question. on which you have to pay 2% is not given. So that means to say that 2% will be paid on both together. Preference share capital and equity share capital together we are paying 2%. That is why these payments I have not taken for deduction here. Now at this stage amount available to the liquidator is 4,10,000. Correct? Now if you see how much we have to pay, how much we have to pay for equity shareholders, that we have to decide. Why we have to decide? Because commission is to be charged at rate by 100 or rate by 100 plus rate. That we have to decide. Sufficient or insufficient topic we have to check out. So for that, now you can see that equity share capital as given in the question, it is for 1 lakh rupees is the equity share capital. Not only equity share capital, these shareholders are also paid with general reserve. It is given in the question for rupees 1,24,000 is the general reserve. You have to add equity shareholders only eligible for all this. So equity share capital, general reserve, and one more item is also given for profit and loss account. Profit and loss account as given in the question is for 20,000. So you are seeing that totally we have to pay for equity shareholders 2,44,000 we have to pay for equity shareholders. 2,44,000 to be paid for equity shareholders, right? So this is in addition we have to pay for preference shares. Preference shares we have to pay 1,50,000 capital plus 9,000 rupees dividend. So if you make the payment for 1,50,000, this if you add here 1,59,000 if you add here, now the total comes to how much? 4,03,000 is the total payment, right? I think it is very clear to you. For equity shareholders, capital, general reserve, P&L account we have to pay. For preference shareholders, capital plus arrears of dividend. So these two put together we have to pay for 4,03,000. Now the cash availability is 4,10,000. But can you think that 4,10,000 is available to the shareholders, or can you decide that 4,10,000 is sufficient to pay for 4,03,000? No, we cannot decide, because this 4,10,000 we have calculated before charging 2% commission. We have not charged only 2% commission. So you cannot decide that 4,10,000 is available for paying 4,03,000. So now we are going to charge the liquidator remuneration for this. If I calculate liquidator remuneration, I will take as 4,10,000 into rate of commission divided by 100 plus rate. So why I have taken like this? Because now here it is looking to be 4,03,000 is less than 4,10,000. But this is not having liquidator remuneration. So once you charge liquidator remuneration, it definitely becomes insufficient. Even if you want, you can check out now only. As I have taken, it is 2 by 102. If you calculate this, it comes to 8,039 rupees commission. It may come to 8,039 rupees commission. So if we calculate for this commission, now how much is available, you can check out. it may come to 4,01,961. 4,01,961, but how much we have to pay? 4,03,000 is the payment. Now I think it is clear that whatever the amount available is not sufficient to pay for 4,03,000. That is why I have told you that when you calculate liquidator remuneration, assume that here only it is not sufficient. Here only you assume that it is insufficient and you take as 2 by 102. Correct? So with that, if you deduct this commission, now the actual amount available is 4,01,961. So now you can enter the commission to your statement 2% on 4,10,000, which amounts to 8,039 rupees. Now we have to make the payment for shareholders. Now I have to make the payment for our shareholders. So first already we have made the preference share capital. We have already made the payment of rupees 1,50,000 we have already made. If you deduct this 1,50,000, we are having a balance of rupees 2,51,961, right? After deducting preference share capital. But we already have also made a payment of dividend. You are seeing here, dividend also already we have made the payment for rupees 9,000 is made. So if you deduct now, the balance available is 2,42,961. 2,42,961 is the balance available. But our equity share capital given in the question, equity share capital given in the question is for 1 lakh. So now you are having a surplus of rupees 1,42,961. This we are going to call it as the surplus. This we are going to call it as the surplus. This is to be paid for the shareholders. Okay. Now here we enter for the calculations whatever we have done. Equity shareholders is paid with equity share capital of rupees 1 lakh. 1 lakh rupees we make the payment, and at the last we are going to show the surplus of 1,42,961. This amount, whatever the balance is there, you show it as it is for 1,42,961. See here, equity share capital is paid in full. Right? Capital is paid in full. But what happens? Just now I have told you, there are two other items we have to make for payment to equity shareholders. What are the two payments I have told? One is general reserve, another one is profit and loss account. Right? Capital you can make the full payment, but these two items you cannot give the full amount because there is a shortage of amount. So whatever the balance is available, you don't show it as general reserve or P&L account. Including both, you show it as surplus in the statement. This is a very rare case that we come across. Right? We come across very rarely in the liquidator's final statement. Now, if you check your statement with whatever we have done, your receipt side and your payment side will become equal for rupees 5 lakhs. Receipt side and payment side, it will be definitely making you equal for 5 lakh rupees. Hope, I believe that you have understood. It's very clearly. But actually speaking, this is only the easiest solution. Because normally in the exam what they do, this equity share capital of different categories they will give. A group shares, B group shares, like that. Different categories they will give. Then what we have to do, this surplus also you have to distribute for each group of equity shares. That may elaborate your calculation a little more, right? So right now, to that extent we don't have information in the question. We have a very simple solution to end up here. Write only the capital with full amount, and whatever the remaining amount is there, write it as surplus. Right? This much you need to work, including the calculation part and the statement part. You need to show very neatly in the examination for section C, long question solution. Thank you.